Hi Bruce, just wondering, tell me a bit more about how you come up with the ideal business idea.
Well, the ideal business idea actually comes from within yourself, because the idea has to relate to like who you are, where you want to go in the world, and what's really important to you in terms of the kind of money you want to make, the type of business that you're after. So first and foremost, the idea needs to be absolutely part of you to maintain the momentum to turn that idea into reality.
So why is that important?
Well, it's very important because if there's a mismatch between what it is you're trying to achieve and what your capabilities are and who you are as a person, then it's going to be very, very difficult to actually make that idea show up. Like for an example, you know, if you want to build a ballet dancing studio and you're an NRL football player, there's obviously a mismatch. I know that's an extreme example, but there's going to be a mismatch on who you are and what you can actually achieve in the marketplace as well. So there needs to be an alignment.
Okay, give me an example of how, you know, you take a business from whatever, an idea, up to, anyway, you've give me an answer for what that would be.
Look, it doesn't matter what you're selling. What you have to do is, you've got to remember this, is that you're shaping perception. So you take an idea and you want to work out how you shape the perception of your customer to purchase that idea. So what I mean by shaping perception is desire. If you think of it in terms of desire, right? So how do you shape the perception so that the client or the customer has this massive amount of desire for the particular idea that you're selling? That is the starting point, and that is usually what sparks the entire amount of revenue in order to go from zero to your first $1 million.
Can you demonstrate how that would work?
Well, so if you take something like someone who sells education into commercial property, one of the projects I've been working on. So what you do is you've got to have a look at the perception of your archetype of client. So how do they perceive the market? How do they perceive their future? What is it they desire to turn up in their life through commercial property or through investment? And then from there you shape the perception of your idea to match into what they truly desire, and that's part of the process of starting to sell your idea into reality. And then from there you build your systems, you shape the perception of your staff members or anybody who's working with you as well, so that you take control of how everything is seen, believed and feel about your actual product or brand or service.
So how would this work if you wanted to start a business and then maybe a year or two down the track bring it to $1 million company? What would you do exactly?
Well, the first thing you've got to start off with is the spark of an idea. So the idea itself that you're looking for is something that's more hidden than on the surface. You want something that's really unique and something that you can monopolize a smaller market. So what I mean by this is that you need to be able to find a piece of human nature that's not getting met, or find a way to meet that in a different way. Like if you take the $1 trillion social media industry, the underlying desire that's happening within a human being is this desire to be acknowledged by someone else, or be acknowledged by their peers or strangers. So you take that spark of an idea and then you build your technology or your service or your psychological framework around that particular idea, so that it matches into what your target audience would desire.
Taking it from the top, how would it be if you took just a raw idea to something that makes you $1 million or $2 million a year, you know, something like that, within maybe say the next 2 years? What would you do?
Look, you've got to take your idea and you've got to be able to build a process that will be able to capture a smaller market and dominate a smaller market, and then from that dominating that smaller market and building that idea into that particular market, and then from there you want to be able to expand it out further like that for a start. That's one of the key ideas. So the idea itself needs to be able to drive desire. So whatever idea you've got to look at it through the lens of desire. What is it the client desires? Because desire is what people will pay money for. And then you take that desire and you turn it from a desire that they want into something they absolutely must need. So it doesn't matter what it is they want, you transfer that want into what they need. And how do you do that? You do that through perception. So give you an example. A cake shop. Say you wanted to manufacture birthday cakes, right? So the desire behind birthday cakes, or the desire behind birthday, is to have a massive celebration at their party. So that birthday cake needs to be an extension of the celebration. So if you wanted to build a great idea around birthday cakes, what would you do? Right? You make and amplify the idea of desire of celebration through the birthday cake. So if it was going to be an absolutely incredible birthday cake, then the celebration needs to start with the packaging. How could you build packaging that amplifies celebration? How could you build the cake when it shows up is an amplification of celebration? And what kind of services or what kind of add-ons could you add to that birthday cake that amplifies the desire for a great celebration?
Like the restaurant and the photographer and the chauffeur trip to the restaurant, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
correct.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. And you've worked with business people doing this sort of thing over the last few years?
Look, I've started up well over 10 small businesses myself, and I've worked with over a dozen entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, building or attempting to build fast growth companies in technology, in financial services, psychological services, recruitment and education. So I reckon I've probably worked with owners of businesses and the businesses that I started up myself in well over 30 different industries over the years. And through that you learn a lot of wisdom about what will take something off and what won't. You learn a lot about what is a really bad idea and what is a really good idea, and that's what you need to know in order to be able to grow a business. First thing you need to know is you need to know what isn't going to work as an idea. Right? And then the second thing you need to know is, well, what is a great idea? What idea will build you a valuable business? Because at the end of the day, if you want to become an entrepreneur, your goal is to create wealth. Your goal is to create a massive income beyond what the average person wants to build. Right? You're looking to get yourself out of wages, out of slaving away, out of the death trap of working in a cubicle, typing. Right? What you're looking to do is you're looking to have a punt at the game of creating massive income to retire on, massive income to perhaps change your lifestyle, massive income to build the house you want, the car you want to drive. That is what it means to be an entrepreneur. And the starting point of becoming an entrepreneur is the key idea. If the idea is rubbish, then your business will fail. There's no two doubts about it. If your business is a brilliant idea that comes from pure creativity, that comes from something that's genius within inside yourself and is brand new in the marketplace, that has massive desire behind that idea, then you have a great way to build a business.
Okay. And what would be some of your suggestions there for people even just to come up with that idea?
Look, an idea is something that's buried deep inside yourself.
How would you define that idea?
How would I define the idea?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea needs to do these four things.
Yeah.
It needs to be unique, right? Meaning that it needs to be different than other things in the marketplace. Meaning it's not an improvement of what already is in the marketplace, right? The idea needs to build a monopoly. Meaning you need to have an idea that you can capture a small part of the marketplace in a monopoly way, and then from there you can scale it from there. The best ideas are usually hidden from what other people will see. So I'll tell you what, look, bad ideas come from logic. Okay, so logic would say they should come from logic, but bad ideas come from logic, right? Why? Because logic always has blind spots in it. Logic locks you into the map that's in your head and your history and your experience, as opposed to getting outside that and creating something brand
So
new.
how would people know or justify whether an idea is logic or emotion in their head? I mean, how would someone know? Because we have some sort of cognitive way of thinking, that we're looking for cognitive things out there in society that says, oh yeah, this confirms that my idea is right, or that confirms the idea is right. Or I bought a red car, so I'm seeing red cars down the motorway. Is there something like that where an idea can be proven as to be whether it's logic or emotion?
Yeah, the idea comes from something deeper inside your own desire. And
But how would you know?
how would you know?
That's what I'm asking. I know the what.
How do you know if there's a
How
good
do you
idea?
know? How do you know?
Well, you have to be able to use your mind or your creativity in a way that filters that filters.
Do you have a process for being able to select that?
Ideas are built on 4 different levels of reality. Yeah. So an idea starts in consciousness. So a great idea is not part of your thinking or your memories. A great idea is part of consciousness in itself. So you take that spark of an idea, and then from that spark of the idea you draw other resources to you, finances, people, structures, systems, marketing, sales processes, to that idea to make it turn up into reality. Now you use your mental capability of reality in order to be able to shape the conceptual ideas to make it turn up. And then you want to be able to let go of a lot of emotion around that idea to be able to actualize your actual strategy into reality. So what I mean by that is you need to let go of your preconceived ideas about the idea and decide exactly how you want to shape it to turn up. And that is what you drive the process on, how you decide you want to perceive that idea in the marketplace.
And do you work with people showing them how to do that process?
Yeah, so I run a 2-day weekend workshop that will accurately put someone through a process where they come out the other side with $1 million idea that absolutely matches who they are, what they're excited about bringing into the world, and show them how they can build more and more motivation to make that turn up as that idea progresses.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Because at the end of the day, you're going to need a lot of motivation, you're going to need a lot of a mental resilience to make something turn up in the world of business.
Right. Okay, well, look, that sounds tremendous, Bruce. We'll put some links in at the description below for people to follow up on for your next up and coming event, and that way they can get in touch with you, and look forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, David.